Now, new subject, high-paying jobs on the move out of the United States. Our business correspondent Paul Salmon of WGBH Boston reports.
You're smarter than some people that I know. See? You say, I won't work for peanuts. I want real pay.
One morning in early 2001, Judy Adelstein, an $85,000 a year assistant vice president at a major New York bank, was called into her boss's office.
She was kind of like, she did one of those. So I said, oh my goodness, it's not good news. And I said to her, well, you know, give it to me straight. What's going on? She said, well, it has nothing to do with your performance. She said, I'll be very honest with you. She said, there's a layoff.
Adelstein was among some 5,000 bank employees being told to pack up and go home.
And I thought to myself as I'm walking back there, well, I'm in the middle of a project. I was so important at 9 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day, but now I'm not important at all. So you get very depressed because you think, here, I was so indispensable, and now, and then when especially when I found out down the road what was going on, it was even more devastating.
What she later found out was that her job had been offshored to India. Soon afterward, her husband Scott lost his software job near Ground Zero for medical reasons related to 9/11.
My building was damaged, and being I have an asthma condition, I couldn't work downtown. So since then, I've been basically, trying to get back into the market.
But he hasn't gotten back in, despite 26 years in the industry and 350 job applications sent out this past year alone. Scott Adelstein, too, blames offshoring.
Jobs aren't being done in this country anymore. So, I mean, how do you explain 350 resumes and no job? Maybe that's seeing how much experience I have and my salary and saying, well, why should we pay him this kind of money when we can get someone for a lot cheaper?
What kind of money?
$52,000.
Judy Adelstein has found a higher paying job at another major bank. Scott is still looking for a job in his field. But both have become increasingly anxious about an accelerating trend in the U.S. labor market, the offshoring of American service jobs. Judy is worried enough to be organizing a union for high-tech workers whom she corresponds with by email.
We're all in poverty and on welfare, us $100,000 plus programmers. And I want to work and I want my job back.
What struck us in the course of our research for this story was just how pervasive offshoring seems to be. Many of you saw evidence of it on the NewsHour a year ago, when Fred de San Lazaro visited a call center in Bangalore, India, which answered the phones for American catalog companies.
The black bra and the CD recorder will be delivered by 6 p.m. Friday.
But as the trend has broadened from call centers to higher level work, it struck more of a chord. This past spring, Businessweek magazine reported that all kinds of high-skilled jobs are now migrating to low-wage countries, at pay that averages about 1/10 the going rate in the U.S. IBM made headlines last summer when this audio tape of an executive conference call was leaked.
We don't want to sit back and say, don't do it, because there's going to be problems. Our competitors are doing it, and we have to do it.
Even we ourselves were tempted to send work offshore when we learned we could transmit audio of our interviews to India via the internet to be transcribed at a cost of about $6 per hour of tape, versus the 100 or more we usually spend. On the other hand, the company we contacted took a week to get back to us to say it'd be another month before they did the work due to an office move.
After a doctor dictates by telephone, digital handheld, or PC.
But at the production company where we edited this very story, we were shown a PR film they just made for a Pittsburgh firm that sends doctors' dictations to India to be transcribed. It has set up shop in 4 Indian cities for the now usual reasons.
Its software engineers are among the best in the world. English is the primary language. There's high computer literacy, excellent internet connections, and an experienced transcription workforce. The time difference between the United States and India is also an added value.
While we're sleeping, they're working.
For the first time, medical transcription truly has 24-hour coverage.
Finally, of course, there's the bottom line reason. Transcription in India is saving these health facilities money, even after the U.S. company takes its cut. The most striking evidence for the growth of offshoring, though, may be a website known as elance.com. Employers post a job on Elance, the workers of the world competitively bid for it. Like the software engineers at ctechworld.com, an Indian firm that consults on everything from e-business to biometrics. Or Sergey Rudd of AI Studio, who designs websites from the Ukraine. Elance has become a god for outsourcing industry, Rudd emailed us, just like eBay for auction. And then there's Dan Alex, a Romanian who married a Turkish woman and moved to Istanbul. He designs stationery, brochures, websites, but started out with corporate logos. A Romanian living in Turkey designing a logo for a U.S. company. This is how it all started. Since then, I designed more than 200 logos for various clients from all over the world. It seems to me this is the global trend, but we are still in the infancy of this phenomenon. Management consultant John McCarthy, who's researched the trend, concurs.
I think you're going to see a steady increase of jobs going offshore from the range of 600,000 over the last couple of years to 3.3 million as we look forward 10 years. What started as a small drip in the early 90s has now become significant enough where you can count hundreds of thousands of jobs, and soon will be significant enough where you can look at millions of jobs.
And that's what has workers like Scott and Judy Adelstein worried.
The one thing that's out of this whole equation is something called American pride, and that's something that no longer exists for corporations. There are American companies that were built and founded in this country, yet they're losing their workforce to people that aren't even from this country.
Exactly. We have to temper the corporate greed with a little bit of conscience, a little bit of, he said, American pride. And we can't say just we're going to sell everybody down the river because, you know, IBM or Intel or Microsoft wants to make tons. They're making tons of money. How much money can Bill Gates spend in one lifetime?
But Bill Gates would say, hey, I created all these jobs in Redmond, Washington.
And he's outsourcing them now. Okay, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I need to make a living, and I need to make a living commensurate with where I live.
But this is just the story of competition, isn't it? I mean, the dynamic nature of capitalism.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're putting Americans out of work, and you expect Americans also to buy your product.
But won't Indians also buy American products once they've earned the dollars to do so? Rajiv Chowdhury is an Indian-born Wall Street money manager who thinks he knows his former countrymen pretty well.
They're going to buy cars that might be made in the United States. They're going to buy Coca-Cola. They're going to buy McDonald's. They're going to buy Levi's jeans. They're going to want to send their kids to school in the United States. They're going to want to come to New York on vacations. So there is a multiplier that feeds back into the service economy of this country.
But people we've talked to say it's simply unfair for them to have to compete with people in India because the Indians have such an enormous cost advantage.
You know, we always tell our kids, compete because competition is good. This is another kind of competition. You know, we as citizens and we as consumers benefit from lower prices, better quality, and better service.
So American consumers benefit. As to American workers, they will, say economists, find other work.
I think what we've all learned over the last 20 years is that you can't take anything for granted regards to employment. The age of full employment, whether it was manufacturing kind of dispelled, and now we're seeing being dispelled in services.
And the solution for them really is to upgrade their skills and transition to newer opportunities, because the reality is, in a fast-moving, technology-driven economy, there are new kinds of jobs that are being created all the time.
But what if in the long run most American workers simply can't compete, given the wages Indians and others like the Chinese are willing and able to work for? Leave aside the hundreds of millions of desperately poor Indians, many willing to drive rickshaws for pennies. There are also, by some estimates, 150 million educated Indians, a number greater than the entire American workforce. How can we compete with that?
I have a lot more faith in the innovation potential of the American economy. The internet was created in the United States, not in any other country in the world. And as a result, you know, millions of jobs have been created in this country as well as outside. So I don't know what the next big thing is going to be, but I can tell you one thing, it's going to come from this country, and it's going to create a lot of jobs in the United States.
Well, if you're an American worker, you certainly hope so. Because the kind of job Scott Adelstein's doing at the moment is not what many of us, and surely not what he had in mind.
I'm doing stock work for a retailer.
Meaning?
Kmart.
Kmart.
Right.
What exactly do you do?
stocking the shelves, you know, pricing goods, you know, working nights, 11 at night through 7 in the morning.
What do you earn?
$8.50 an hour.
Are you embarrassed? I mean, you said retail, stocking. I didn't know what you meant at first.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not embarrassment, just that, you know.
You didn't want to tell me right away.
Oh, he's embarrassed, I think. With good reason. He's an educated person.
An educated person who's competing against more and more educated counterparts who just happen to live in a cheaper part of the world.